ever ask yourself why in 2026 we still do not teach basic economic concepts at school? Simply because governments, systems, banks, it is convenient for such entities to have you ignorant to a certain extent, to have you not master certain concepts, the jargon behind finance and capital markets that would allow you to master all the possibilities for tax deferrals, shields, compounding, and other essential concepts that I will unveil today. Hello fellow wealth seekers, and welcome back to another educational installment on the channel. We start with concept number 1, capital matrix optimization. Here we're talking about budgeting. If you do not track what you're spending and what you're able to keep, you're simply pouring water into a bottomless bucket, not really able to accumulate anything meaningfully. Number 2, net worth. Here we're tracking how much you possess and how much you owe. Whatever is in your pocket, bank, assets, investments, that's a positive. Whatever you owe, expenses, debt, is a minus. If you're in the positive territory, well, you're already unlocking level 1 of compounding wealth, like I speak about in my Accumulating Wealth series. 3, margin. Here we're talking about savings rate and investing rate. Then first one, how much you're able to save out of everything you earn, minus the expenses that simply get deducted. If you are saving 5%, it will take you decades, potentially 2 lifetimes, to be financially independent. If you're saving 40% and investing the vast majority of that, guess what? 15 years or so and you can call yourself free. The difference between what you simply keep and what you actively put to work and invest is extremely relevant. Number 4, the compounding magic. Here we're talking about the interest that your capital generates while accumulating on a diversified global ETF that generate interest of their own. So this snowball effect that goes accumulating over the years and allows you to eventually let your money work on its own. If you're removing capital before compounding has reached some sort of critical mass, let's say by year 15 or 20, you're actively sabotaging your future wealth. Number 5 is capital velocity, ROI, return on investment, or elsewhere called rate of return. And as I always say, savings rate beats rate of return because you can count on 30 or 40% of your income being saved, but not on a sustainable return of your investments of 40%. Generally, the stock market has returned 7 to 8% annualized over a longer term of staying invested in the market, and bonds have returned 3 to 4%. There's obviously different yields based on the different asset classes, but you can never count on too high returns. So the sheer amount of what you put to work is essential. Next to that, 6, inflation and the difference between purchasing power and nominal wages. So you have this invisible monster eating up some wealth if you're leaving it in the bank. All you're thinking of having on a side is actually a melting ice cube because prices do increase each year, no matter the geopolitical conflict or stagflation or whatever might be happening around you. There's also more subtle forms of that, such as shrinkflation and skimpflation. I talked about it in a specific video, so I recommend you to have a look. But your purchasing power basically means how much of a certain commodity your money can buy today versus a year or two ago. And most likely this is depreciating by 3 to 4% every year, relentlessly. So you might think everything has to be invested. Not necessarily, because we get to number 7, which is the liquidity shield. If you do not have an emergency fund, and that has to be cash because it has to be available on hand, it cannot be locked in a deposit account that has to yield a return, that has to mature interest. It needs to be liquidity available for you for any occurrence that simply might happen, because life does happen around us, to our family members, to anything that we might need, or even to seize some financial opportunities. Cash is still king. Number 8 is the asset diversification. We cannot count on one single stock pick or only be invested with a pension plan on a specific bond title. We need to have a diversified and structured asset group that already diversifies and spreads the risk. Commodities, stocks, bonds, treasury, infrastructure and real estate, even some spicier picks such as cryptos. All of this needs to be weighed against a sustainable percentage that structures our portfolio effectively. Number 9 is all about the alternative mapping, so opportunity costs. What could your money have done if you didn't buy a certain asset? Imagine you buy a car, 40k, but whatever you could have done with those 40k is potentially much more meaningful. You could have invested it not in a depreciating asset, but in an appreciating, diversified ETF portfolio. So it's the hundreds of thousands that in time this could have generated. Number 10, know your game. There are tax wrappers that shield you from immediate income taxes available in most countries. PA in France, ISA in the UK, Fondi Pensione in Italy. You have a number of choices that have to be maximized first before getting into a taxable portfolio. So get into the right order of operations. Your emergency fund, your tax advantaged accounts, investment, more speculative investments, and so on. I talk about it in my Levels of Wealth series across a number of countries in Europe. So you see, here are the 10 concepts that will make you a more educated investor, or if anything, more aware of what are the tools at your disposal and how you can steer your financial wheel every single month for capital accumulation effectively and efficiently. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if any deep dive is potentially helping you even more. I always appreciate all the questions and interactions in the comments, so please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel a little bit. It's free. Thank you. I'll see you in the next session. European Wealth Lab out.